A WWE superstar released today in light of sexual assault allegations. We look back at last night's WWE Raw 25th anniversary special from Manhattan and from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and a preview of tonight's SmackDown. This is PWR Tonight for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. Hello, fans, and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report, PWR Tonight. Damian Nelson coming to you here from the PWR studios. We're back here in town in the Milwaukee studios of the Pro Wrestling Report after last night's big Raw 25. We'll get to more about that show in a minute, but first, I want to remind all of you to subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can go ahead and hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode of the Pro Wrestling Report, of which we'll be bringing you PWR Tonight for the next 3 nights, and then a brand new edition of Primetime on Friday, where we have Be the Booker for this weekend's Royal Rumble. Big news coming out of WWE today in the release of WWE star Enzo Amore. Enzo has been released in light of allegations that were made public on social media just a couple of days ago of him participating in a sexual assault against a woman in Phoenix, Arizona back in October of last year. The assault and the allegations are pretty big, and also have been compiled in a police report as well. Police investigating this alleged crime that was committed by Enzo and others. And there is no update to the case right now from everything we have been able to see. But we do know that WWE, for whatever reason, has taken a pretty swift action after suspending Enzo first when the allegations came up, and then releasing him yet one day later. As you know, we did not see Enzo on the 25th anniversary of Raw, and he was slated to defend that Cruiserweight Championship this Sunday at the Royal Rumble. So, pretty big day for that news, and a pretty bad day for all involved, especially the victim if this is indeed true. But Enzo Amore no longer with WWE. He is gone, ladies and gentlemen. The company announcing his release earlier today. Last night, WWE presented Raw from 2 venues, the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and the Manhattan Center in New York. It was the 25th anniversary of Raw, and there was a lot of talk going into it, a lot of hype going into it. David Hero and myself were in New York. If you saw us, we were on Facebook Live yesterday. We also later uploaded the show here to YouTube with our preview of the show. And then if you followed us on our social media, you got our thoughts of the show as it progressed over the course of the night. But it doesn't appear as if, in most fans' eyes, WWE actually delivered for this 25th anniversary special. What they did deliver, though, is 4.5 million viewers, nearly over 1 million more viewers in the prior week for Raw. So the hype worked, the 25th anniversary gimmick worked, but the dual venue didn't work as well. Lots of disgruntled fans in the Manhattan Center, which basically they got the Undertaker promo, which I'm still not sure if he actually told us anything, and they got the reuniting of DX along with the club in the Manhattan Center, whereas in Brooklyn, I mean, I was at the Manhattan, at the Barclays Center. We actually switched our venue at the last minute. We were going to be at Manhattan Center, but realized that most of the action would be at Barclays, and most of the action was at Barclays. So I was satisfied being there at the show. It was cool. It was fun. Austin starting it off, coming out and stunning Vince McMahon. And, it gets to be, Shane as well, gets to be a bit cliched. However, I was surprised that Austin didn't speak. Surprised Bischoff didn't speak when we saw him later. It seemed as if they were sort of checking off boxes in this nostalgia show that didn't have enough nostalgia to it. I'm not knocking it. I was entertained for those 3 hours, but at the same time, at the end of the day, was it really special? It was cool to see people back, even though most of them were playing cards with the APA in the back, but it just didn't feel terribly special in its execution. And when you look at all the hype that was surrounding it, I think it left me a little bit, it felt a little flat, just to be honest with you. This, even in the light that we did get a new Intercontinental Champion last night, The Miz defeating Roman Reigns to many of your great joy, and is now again the Intercontinental Champion. I would wonder if we're going to see a rematch between the two at the Royal Rumble on Sunday, or perhaps next week on Raw. The Miz, of course, used shenanigans to win, but that's what he does. but he is now, again, the Intercontinental Champion, regaining that championship from Roman Reigns. We want to hear your thoughts, folks, on what you thought of Raw 25 last night. Share with us right here on YouTube. Comment on the video here, or even better, interact with us on Twitter at PWR Show on Twitter. That's at PWR Show on Twitter, and of course myself at Damian Nelson on Twitter as well. A great night in New York. It really was. I had a blast. I had more fun after the show, I think, than I did during the show, but still had a great time. And do I regret going? Absolutely not. I'm glad I was able to be there for the 25th anniversary of Raw. It was missing something, but it wasn't missing anything, but it was missing something. And it's just, maybe the expectations were too high. Maybe the hype was too high. Ultimately, I think it under-delivered, but of course was still a special feeling edition of Raw. And I think to the point of the two-venue thing, it's incredibly difficult to manage those expectations. And I think it was going to be difficult no matter what WWE did. They had some dark matches in the Manhattan Center. It looked cool on TV, and I guess at the end of the day, it is only a TV product. But again, lots of fans not too pleased with the lack of action that they got in the Manhattan Center, and I can understand that completely. They got two big moments for really what else over a 3-hour period. Folks, tomorrow night we'll be back with a brand new edition of PWR Tonight. We'll be looking at SmackDown, that is tonight, which, by the way, preview of SmackDown for tonight. We've got a lot going on, including Bobby Roode celebrating as the United States champion, and the final hype going into the Royal Rumble. Some six-man tag team action as well. This is the go-home show for the company. Going into the Royal Rumble this Sunday night from Philadelphia. But we'll be back again tomorrow with a review of SmackDown. We'll take a look back at SmackDown. I'll share my thoughts. And we will also be giving you a preview of NXT, which is tomorrow night on the WWE Network. Folks, thank you very much for joining us here on PWR Tonight. Thank you for interacting with us during our Facebook Live broadcast on Facebook yesterday. And there will be more of that coming, by the way. Very, very happy with the interaction and the engagement that we got from the audience over there on that forum. But for now, this has been PWR Tonight. I'll remind you to subscribe to us here on the show for YouTube. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe link. And also, don't forget to check out the podcast. That's blogtalkradio.com/PWR. You can get our podcast, our WCW retrospective shows this Sunday after the Royal Rumble will be live. And also, all of these episodes of PWR Tonight and Primetime available in podcast form. I'll remind you, Primetime returns this Friday. Right here on YouTube, it'll be the Booker for the Royal Rumble. From all of us here at PWR, thank you very much for joining us here on PWR Tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow night.